Hello everyone, welcome to the November online chapter meeting of the Building Designers Association of Australia. My name is Jennifer Binns, I'm a building designer in Tasmania and host of the online chapter meetings, and today I have Chris with me managing the technology in the background. Thanks for joining us. Post a message in the chat box and let us know where you're logging in from. Firstly, welcome back to Victoria. Those in New South Wales and ACT have felt your pain, and it's great that you're now able to get out and about to some degree. There are several events being held in Victoria over the coming weeks, so keep an eye out for them. And congratulations to all the National Design Award winners, and a particular shout out to Adam Hobill, who won this year's National Design Excellence Award for his treetop design. We're pleased to announce that there is a dedicated website for the National Design Awards where you can see all of the latest designs. The website address is BDAA National Design Awards 2021.com.au. If you're a participant in this year's National Design Awards, you should have received a separate email with instructions on how to update your webpage. If you require any further information, please reach out to media@bdaa.com.au and Sarah Jane can assist you in updating your page with new information. So some of those award entries were just beautiful, so congratulations to everyone who participated. And Sarah Jane has also asked me to pass on to everyone who participated in this year's National Design Conference that the CPD certificates showing informal and formal Category 1 and Category 2 CPD points will be issued by the end of the week. If you wanted to purchase conference tickets or upgrade your conference ticket to allow you to have lifetime access to the conference recordings, you can still purchase this by logging onto the conference website. Chris will put the link in the chat box now, and you can either buy a VIP ticket or upgrade your ticket to a VIP ticket. And there were some really fantastic presentations, so it's well worth having access to them. We also have a new initiative from our principal industry partner, WeatherTex. On the second Wednesday of the month, WeatherTex will provide tips and tricks on how to better utilise WeatherTex resources. The first session will be on Wednesday, the 10th of November at 2 p.m. and is titled "Weathertex is Better Than Zero Carbon Footprint, Please Explain." The second session will be on Wednesday, December the 8th at 2 p.m. and is titled "Sustainable Design Trends, Latest Styles in Cladding." These are quick 30-minute sessions to keep you up to date with product knowledge and the latest industry developments. So if you would like to register for these free events, Chris will put the link in the chat box now. Before we start our presentations, just a quick run through of the Zoom tools, and forgive me sounding a bit snotty, I'm actually on the tail end of a cold. You're welcome to ask questions throughout the meeting using the Q&A box, and our presenters will answer your questions either throughout the presentation or at the end. The Q&A feature also allows you to upvote topics, so just keep an eye on what's being posted. If you'd like to ask a question via audio, there's a raise your hand tool, and we just ask that you check there's no background noise that will interfere with the audio when we unmute you to ask your question. The chat box is there as a continuous message thread for comments, and Chris will use the chat box to post links. So comments in the chat box, questions in the Q&A box. Moving on to today's presentations, we are excited to announce that the BDAA has signed an environmental declaration of commitment to sustainable development for the built environment this morning. And today we have Jeremy Rose from SDG Align, who is the driver of this program, to tell us more and to provide a roadmap on how each member can utilise the tools that SDG Align provides. So welcome, Jeremy. Have we got you online? I see beautiful coastline.
Thanks, Jennifer.
Jeremy, welcome.
That's a beautiful little piece of the north coast of Tasmania. You might know it. It's in a town called Norworth.
I do. Lovely. I'm going to hand over to you if you're ready to go.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Let me just share my screen. Share that one. Okay, so firstly, a really big thank you to BDAA, not just for the opportunity to present today, but also to have been a central part of their sustainable development journey. It's been really amazing to see the level of interest and leadership provided by the association, as well as the passion that I've witnessed from members, those that have participated in our task forces over the last 12 months, as well as in the climate committee that's currently underway. Before we go any further, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia. We recognise their continuing connection to land, water and culture, and pay respects to their elders past, present and emerging. A little bit of background on us. SDG Align as a business is all about empowering businesses to make change, understand the need for and the opportunity that sustainable development presents. Our focus is in the built environment, and our partnerships with associations, particularly with the BDAA, have given us the ability to develop some deep understanding of the shift businesses can take and how doing business for good is good for business. This has resulted in the development of a toolkit for sustainable development, which has just won an Australian Good Design Award in the social impact category. Looking at sustainable development, with COP26 and the G20 underway, the world's pretty well focused on climate action, which is really, really important. But we also recognise that sustainable development journey that will result in a better future for people and the planet requires a fair bit more than climate action. We need to ensure that we shift our mindset from a shareholder thinking to a system value thinking, while making sure that we include the social, economic, as alongside the environmental impacts to help us create that sustainable and prosperous future for people and the planet. When considering the Sustainable Development Goals, we started this journey at the beginning of COVID and looked at sustainability, and that was fairly heavily focused on an energy conversation. Through our work with the BDAA task force, it highlighted that there's an increased opportunity presented by a more holistic view of sustainable development rather than just a conversation about sustainability. United Nations Sustainable Development Goals presents a framework that we can consider the three interrelated layers of sustainable development: the social, the economic, as well as the environmental. Climate action on its own is much harder to achieve if we don't consider the social benefits that we can create and how we minimise the negative economic impacts through that journey. Hence the triple bottom line approach. And we need to make sure that people are at the heart of our business practice, whether that is ourselves as business owners and managers, whether it's our staff, the community we operate in, or the people in our supply chain. So through the BDAA task force, we focused on a couple of key questions. This work happened towards the end of 2022 and into the start of this year, and it resulted in a narrative which is now available on the BDAA website. The key questions that we looked at were: what does sustainability mean to the design sector, and why is sustainable development important? There's an obvious and very current public interest in the green piece here with COP26 and G20, and it seems that there's a little bit of a failing in leadership around the urgency of the action needed. And I think this presents a fairly big leadership opportunity for the BDAA to sort of fill that void for the design sector. But in addition to the green elements, we need to also focus on livability. Built environment isn't just the buildings. People need to live and work, and cities need to be more livable. Not just the buildings, but the precincts, the suburbs, the whole cities need to be better designed and better connected. There's also a need for an efficiency measure to ensure the economic prosperity. Affordability in the built environment isn't just rent or mortgage. It's all about proximity to work and shops and community. It's about the efficiency and the operational costs of buildings. So there's lots of factors that need to be considered, all of which help support that green agenda. We also need to make sure that we're smart about how we achieve this. So we're using technology appropriately where it solves problems. Embracing new materials and design methodology, construction methodology is very important. Embracing all of that in a smart design process, which will help improve the outcomes as well as reduce the costs. So that's our key messages for the industry around sustainable development. But it's also important to understand why this is important. Some aspects and some interests we all share, but each of us brings our own perspective, whether we're in the supply chain, whether we are an owner of a building or an investor in building, whether we're a designer, whether we work in a design firm. Businesses need to really understand and deliver on their customer needs, and there's an increasing customer expectation of sustainable development focus and sustainable outcomes. We need to recognise that employees also value sustainable development, economic security and social impact, and they're more attracted to work with industries and businesses that share these values. Developers and building owners want more efficient, more comfortable, more livable buildings, but they also need to work economically. More sustainable buildings provide better returns and reduce running costs. They're more attractive for investors and tenants, therefore increase the value of the built asset. Supply chains are also becoming increasingly important. Rapid emergence of the new audience of or new consumer demand for sustainable products is pushing supply chains to respond. Suppliers of building materials are increasingly focused on promoting their products' environmental performance, as well as the supply chain issues of modern slavery, their ethical business practices, and are very much aligning with the Sustainable Development Agenda. And this work that the BDAA has undertaken is presenting a fairly significant opportunity for those upstream in the supply chain to promote their products to a receptive audience who is going to pass it on to the end consumers. Downstream in the supply chain, we also acknowledge that there's some challenges in the Australian property industry. It's fairly siloed at the moment, and we've identified a role for the BDAA to play a critical education function in supporting better implementation of the designs that the building designers are producing, to make sure that we see that improved design actually materialise into a high-performing built environment, making sure that the right materials that are specified are used and that those materials are constructed properly to be manageable and maintainable. So lots of different perspectives that come to play, and it's important that we understand all of those. We must recognise those perspectives, but we also must work together if we're going to deliver that future for the built environment. Oops. To that end, the purpose of today is a very exciting announcement that the BDAA has made a very public commitment to a sustainable future. It's committed to actions not just on the climate, but across the Sustainable Development Principles. Along with the BDAA, the Strata Community Association and the Consulting Surveyors National Association have all made a public declaration to a sustainable future. As key sectors in the built environment, this public commitment will set the agenda for members and help lead other organisations and other sectors to begin their sustainable development journey. Central to this commitment is the acknowledgement of the global goals as an important framework for measuring the commitment and the progress towards a triple bottom line. We recognise in this commitment that diversity and inclusion are central to the social justice agenda, as well as a need for very urgent action, particularly on the climate change space. So in here is the net zero agenda. As an association, this means that BDAA will be providing leadership and advocacy on behalf of its members and its industry. It will support education, not just for its members, but also for the clients, to make sure that the triple bottom line and the sustainable development goals are understood, as well as working with the supply chain to develop that shared understanding through collaboration. It will encourage other sectors to work more closely with the design sector in order to achieve the realised outcomes of a sustainable built environment. Probably the most important section of this declaration is the final point on accountability. One of the big risks that the businesses face in sustainable development is the risk of greenwashing. So a commitment to be ethical and to be public and to disclose and be accountable is very important, not just for the association, but for the membership as well. To support this journey and implementing that commitment, the BDAA has also launching the first initiative underneath this commitment, which is the BDAA SDG Align Business Ready Reckoner. This is a tool to enable members to get insights into their current contribution, and we recognise that no business here is starting from a 0 point, but everyone has opportunities to improve. This will allow businesses to identify key areas of action and begin planning how to make impact through their business, whether that's internally in their business or through the products and designs that they produce. This will support To support this, we'll be working with BDAA on some sustainable development webinars, which will give businesses additional support on how to develop sustainable planning within their business, and hopefully we can align that with some CPD points. As part of this process, I also have an ongoing pleasure, which is to work with this very passionate group inside the BDAA in terms of the Climate and Sustainable Development Committee. We're currently working on a suite of policy proposals for the BDAA around sustainable design, including net zero, circular design, embodied carbon, water efficiency and healthy buildings. And I can see that space will rapidly expand to include other initiatives within this commitment. I would put a call out to any members online who have a particular passion in this space to get involved in the committee, either the Climate Committee or the Education Accreditation Committees, which will have some flow down impact from this commitment. So to sum up, sustainable development is a journey, and all journeys start somewhere. For sustainable development, it starts with an understanding. We then need to assess where we currently are, make a commitment to action, and plan for implementing change. Once we're underway on that, we need to report and be recognised and inspire others to join us on the journey. This is a call to all members through the new page bdaa.com.au/sustainability. I would encourage members to begin their journey to a sustainable future by starting with the Ready Reckoner, which will lead you through then to the opportunity to make your own public commitment alongside the BDAA to a sustainable future for all people and the planet. If you're already doing stuff, we would also love to hear about this. We're particularly interested in supplier stories and existing design stories to help promote and encourage others to join us on this journey. Let us know. My contact details are here or in through Chris or Sarah Jane. We would appreciate any stories of interest that we can share more broadly to inspire others. That's pretty much it for me. Thank you very much for the time and the opportunity. Please do keep in touch, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. There's some really exciting things happening and tangible ways for people to engage with the process. So thank you for that presentation. I don't think there's any questions being posted yet, but we'll just give people a few minutes to see if they've got any information they want to know at this stage, or they can get in touch with you or through Sarah Jane.
Hi, Jen, it's Chris Neeram. Just letting members know that this is available to all this will be available to full members as well as the thermal performance assessors. So it's not just the designers that this is going to be available to, because we believe that this is very, very important for all businesses and also suppliers. We've got a lot of our suppliers involved in this as well, a lot of the industry partners. So encourage you all to get on board and we'll provide you further information.
And I think, yes, keep watching this space.
Very exciting. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and I look forward to continuing the journey.
Thank you very much, Jeremy. So what I might do is move on to our second presentation. So if you have any questions for Jeremy, feel free to still post them and then we can direct them through to Jeremy. The second presentation today is from Armin Gunai, and forgive me, Armin, for how I've pronounced your surname, who recently won the Rising Star Award at the National Design Awards 2021. Today, Armin is going to present his violin house for us. So have we got you online,
Hello,
Armin?
Jennifer. Thank you.
Hello and welcome.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you. If you're ready, if you're ready, I'm going to hand over to you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, hello again to everyone. I want to say a special thanks to BDAA to give me this opportunity to today. I can present my project Violin House, which is I have designed that for last year for graduate diploma of building design. Actually, this design is an adaptable building design The concept is violin. Let's explain what's going on in there and what happened. And thank you very much for the awarding this project. I awarded this project as a rising star. Thank you very much, BDAA. Let's talk about this project. I have 15 minutes to explain all things, but of course I couldn't explain everything, but I will try my best. Bringing a new standard of community center to North Ride Station precinct site is an adoption of a commercial building that aims to bring international music to life. The project spans over 26 levels of offices with an auditorium, art gallery, restaurants, and cafes. It contributes to the community engagement, introduces luxurious facilities and high-class entertainment to Northside Station and Macquarie Precinct. The design of the project relied on the shape of violin due to the objective to introduce international music in more depth to Australia and as a dedication to my father as a violinist. Every space introduced to this project is an element of a deconstructed violin reshaped to achieve the best functionality of the space. In line with the concept, the project meets the right Council DCP, LEPs, and BCA requirements and has achieved the solutions to meet the requirements dictated by authorities. The project requirements for this project was auditorium space with 450 people capacity, art gallery, museum, community center with 420 people capacity, food and beverage spaces, and also office spaces. The station precinct features covered or enclosed areas, a minimum of 30% landscape area with water efficiency and shaded communal spaces, public art, car and bicycle parking, accessible design, sustainable design with 5.5 star rate of neighbors, material selection as per North Ride Station Precinct DCP 2013, technology and gadgets as per North Ride Station Precinct DCP 2013, signage as per Macquarie Park Controls, right, DCP 2010. The location of the site is behind the North Ride Station, and M2 highway is located behind this building. We have 15 minutes drive from Sydney CBD to this site. We have 5 minutes drive to Macquarie Park, and you will see around this building. And one thing I want to mention in here in this beautiful 3D view, the chin rest of the violin in this shape of the building located in backside and behind the M2. And this one, I use this system, I use the services of this building in this side of the building as a sound barrier to auditorium space and also offices because a heavy, noisy highway behind this building. The site is B for mixed use. The site of area is 14,900 square meter. FSR was 3.5 by 1, and height of this building is 92 meter height. My inspiration for designing this project was triggered when I discovered that my father is unwell. My father was a musician, and music has been a part of our lives from childhood. As this commercial project requires an auditorium and art gallery as well, I decided to use musical instruments as an inspiration. Initially, I thought about 3 instruments to help me develop a concept: violin, trumpet, and piano. After studying the building forms that each instruments could potentially provide, it was decided to use violin as the concept for this project. The violin has a sophisticated shape with many parts. Each part of the instruments was considered in designing this project. Designing the project. The screw, strings, F-holes, and the kidney shape of the violin were deconstructed and use the various part of the design. And I reshaped named the shape of the violin structures. And this is a picture from concept time when I working on the concept. Site layout zone, the red color showing the auditorium space in middle of the violin. This is the plan view. Most of the designs, the concept is coming to the elevation, the instruments, but my concept design is from the top view, but deconstructed the shape of the violin is located around this site of work. And the red color showing the auditorium space. The one challenges point in here, on top of the auditorium space, I use the post-tensioning slab systems because on rooftop, I use the rooftop garden there and access from the community center in the third level. And we have a beautiful open space and landscaping design. Because we're not able to use the columns in the middle of the auditorium. I use the columns around the salon of auditorium, and the columns keep the post-tensioning slab. And also we have access from the top of the auditorium, rooftop garden of auditorium, to top of the restaurant part, the garden, rooftop garden on top of the restaurant. And also around the restaurant, we can walk through to the side and also to the restaurant for order or something. I think about every single point of this project. I will try to explain some of the important parts in here. The lobby of main entrance is located in the ground floor, Museum of Art. In the second floor, the Museum of Art is focused to introduce international musical instruments to Australian wide. And Art Gallery focused to introduce the musician and the history behind the musical instruments all around the world. The community center, of course, I mentioned, located in the third level, and also access to the rooftop garden on top of the auditorium space. And let's see some visualization of the project. This is the view from Northside Station. This is the 3D view for the night light render, sunset render. You will see every 7 levels, we have a seat back in the building as per requirements of BCA. So we have a seat back every 7 levels. Also, we have used the big, massive balconies for lunch times and break times, and also coffee time, and enjoy with the beautiful view, landscaping design every 7 levels. And also we have a rooftop garden on top. And the other side of the building, we have every 2nd levels, we have another massive balconies with the people from the other offices, they can access to these balconies as well. This is a daylight render for the same view. This is another render for the sunset render. I want to mention one of the concepts here. The concept of main entrance comes up from silence of violin. One plastic elements, which is you use it when you practice the violin from the beginner. When you're beginner and practice the violin, you know that the plastic stuff, you put it on the top of the strings of the violin to cast the song. And so this concept comes up from that element for main entrance. And I make it a bit longer because my focus to present some advertising, for example, for a concert inside of the auditorium space happening or any gathering. So we have an advertising showcase inside of this main entrance. And this is the daylight render from this view. And this is the side of the building. You will see the side of the building opposite the Microsoft building in Daly Road. You will see the precast panels for casting the shadow during this sunny days. And also we have a beautiful lighting design. But the point is the lighting design is hide inside of the precast panels to doesn't affect the eyes from the neighbors. And also you will see the beautiful lighting design outside and inside of the site, separation wall between the site and the street. This is the daylight render, as I mentioned, the precast work design in here, cast the shadow for the offices, of course. This is the backside of the violin, which is, I mentioned that in that 3D view. This is chin rest of the violin from top view. This is used as a sound barrier for auditorium and office spaces because we have an M2 highway, as I mentioned. And also we have a beautiful 3D view of the violin with the lighting design behind it and showing what's going on in this building. And this is the daylight render of this. Behind these walls, we have a services also and kitchens for the office space and the rest of the building accesses. And these two photo montage showing the view from the North Side Station, the view photo montage with the design. And one of the elements I explained in this presentation, this is the scroll on top of the violin. We have two scroll on top of the violin. I use that as a water feature on top of the restaurant part and make a beautiful sound and enjoyable for breakfast or lunchtime. And this is this shadings is concept comes up from F holes of the violin. And one important thing here, the all structure of this shading connected to the concrete legs, and this concrete legs connected to the columns underneath of this floor, and make them strong enough and holding that during the windy days, of course. And I show you some of the renders from interiors of the lobby. This is the main entrance lobby and the violin house. You will see the violin house and reception desk, and all design and shapes inside of also interiors follow the shape of violin, and also following the orgs and musical instruments for interiors as well. This is the coffee shop part, and you see the orgs and circles here, and the book shelves here, backside in the coffee shop, and also access to the Museum of Art and Art Gallery top levels. And this is a sitting area around the columns. I designed this concept, and this concept comes up from the waving, some waving from the musical things, and also the following exactly the same, the shape of the building. Inside of the restaurant part 3D with the panels, ceiling panels with the beautiful timber work and the copper color steel works with the beautiful lighting design inside. This is a render from interior design of the restaurant, and you will see the precast, the steps around the restaurant part, which, as I mentioned, can come through to the side and also to the restaurant and from top, and also access to the roof garden top of the auditorium space. This is another render from interior design of the coffee shop. This is one of the offices design, and this is the community center, one of the renders from interiors of community center. I decided the community center, as we know, as somewhere we be sitting together and talking about some subject. So I have decided to design the circles and follow the arcs and circles inside of the interior design as well, and also the furnitures for the interior decoration. This is the interior design of the auditorium space. You will see the beautiful ceiling panels, the acoustic panels with the lighting design, and also acoustic panels to the walls with the lighting design. And also the sitting area, I have designed the best and beautiful, good sitting area to have a best view of the stage. And you will see this reflex is actually this wall is the wall fire protection on top of the stage. And this is the mezzanine level view from top view. I prepare an animation. I don't think I have enough time to show it all, but I'm going through the concept quick.
We've got plenty of time, and we're running ahead of schedule.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'm going so quick. Okay, no problem. I will play that. I hope you enjoy it. But you can see the good quality of video in Art Deco Line YouTube channel by searching Art Deco Line, and I hope you enjoy it. Yes, thank you very much for watching this. Yes, at the end, I want to tell you a little bit about my father, who I dedicate this project to him. Badiou Logouniev was born on December 12, 1939 in Iran, a country that is the cradle of history, culture, and art. He played violin for 50 years of his life, embracing the traditional Iranian music. Due to his love and passion to music, all his children have learned traditional Iranian music alongside their job and professional life. My father was in the field of architecture for 50 years, with a notable number of certifications and appreciations for his contributions. His very magical and pleasant play of violin has always been shooting to our hearts. My father is my greatest role model and inspiration in my life. And he was always my biggest supporter. I owe that I have achieved in my life today to his kindness and greatness. Therefore, I dedicated this project to my father with all my heart. My father passed away on 3rd of May, 2021. It is hoped that this project will be constructed in Australia to become a destination where diverse cultures and art meet. It is my great goal and dream that one day this project becomes a location where music, the unfilled language of all nations, is spoken. As the famous Australian song, "I'm Australian," say, "We are one, but we are many." Thank you very much for having me. Thanks for watching this presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. And I want to say a special thanks to BDAA, because BDAA since 2018, this community helped me since 2018. And anytime when I needed, they helped me a lot. I learned a lot from BDAA. I came to Australia 2018, June 2018, and I established my life in Australia from 2018. I learned English from my TAFE college and from this community. I learned a lot about the Australian standards. I have a knowledge of building design and interior design from back home, but of course I learned a lot here from this community, this big community, and I want to say a special thanks to them. And I suggest to all students, member, and all students in this field to be a part of the BDAA, because BDAA, one stage which is we can build our career and all life in Australia in this field, especially in this field. I learned a lot, and I really appreciate it for all support and help all the time. And also a special thanks for awarded these beautiful trophies behind me for Star Rising Awards and commendation for the Violin House. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and that was a wonderful presentation and a really wonderful, wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Moving through, and congratulations on your awards.
Thank you.
There's a couple of questions there. Esther James would like to know how many hours went into the modelling and the video. She said it's mind-blowingly cool.
Actually, designing this project is gonna take lots of time, because I can tell you, when I start graduate diploma of building design, actually I have designed diploma of building design in 1 year fast track. Actually, normally we have to do that in 2 years, but the graduate diploma are the same. I have done that in 1 year fast track. And I can say I didn't sleep 3 hours in 24 hours in 2020 and 2019. That's the result. That's why I achieved this and lots of other projects and during that time. Of course, it's going to take lots of time, modeling, and it's not just modeling. I have designed all the plans, all the CC drawings, all the reports for BCA, Australian standards, and I'm prepared a lot of reports with non-English. Just imagine how it's hard this to
it's a credit to you, Armin. It's a fantastic effort, and I can only, it takes a lot of passion and a lot of focus to achieve that. So
yeah, because I love this field. I really love this field, and I'm passionate about the design of people. I love this.
That comes through, and absolutely. George also said magical design, congratulations. And there are a lot of comments coming through in the chat box saying how wonderful.
Thank you very much.
There's also somebody who has their hand up wanting to ask a question. So Charbel, I'm just going to unmute you if you would like to talk to Armin. Or Chris, do you need to unmute Charbel, or can I do that?
I've done it, Jen.
Okay, over to you, Charbel. Are you there? Maybe not. Okay. Chris, did you have anything that you wanted to talk to Armin about?
Yeah, look, I just thought I'd go over the project, because I know the project quite well, because obviously, you know, when Armin came to approach the association, you know, as many people do, they come along looking for inspiration and looking for people to be able to pass advice. And Armin came to Australia. You wouldn't think that this gentleman that you're seeing on your screen couldn't speak English several years ago, let alone read English and prepare documents. I was taken back at how quickly he learnt the language. And obviously it's in his DNA because he was in Turkey prior, and he's quite fluent in Turkish in writing and in his vocabulary. But you know, when I looked at the project in the background, it's not about just the design, it's understanding how to build the building. And this is so important for members to understand that when you design something, you should really know how it's going to be built. You don't just design something and leave it to a builder. You need to understand the logistics and everything, because, you know, I went through it with Armin. I was talking about the logistics. I was talking about the cantilevering. How far have you allowed for cantilevering? Do you understand this? Do you understand that? And he understood it all well. And it was very, very good to see that the level of education provided from the institutions that Armin had been with. I think it was Granville TAFE that you were at, Armin?
Yes. I want to add some points. Thank you very much for mentioning this, Chris. A special thanks to you, Chris. You helped me a lot. You give me a lot of information. I get help lots from Chris. And whenever I call him and I ask him any question, he answered me directly. And I really appreciate it for everything you have done for me. And I want to say a special thanks to my teachers in Granville TAFE, because I learned a lot from them. I learned a lot about how I can achieve I can achieve my design in the construction. That's the point. When we design something, if we couldn't build it, and we need to design something buildable. I try in past 12 years, whenever I have designed and I spend time on my design, my focus was I need to build this building. In my college and during the diploma and graduate diploma also, whatever I have designed, I can tell you I can build it now. Just I need a stage. Just I need to find the right people to help me, to support me for this. And also this violin has one of the biggest goal, and I'm pretty sure one day this is one of my biggest goal, and I'm sure one day we can build it in Australia. I hope and I wish.
and that, look, and it's very, very important, because, you know, we talk about the buildability. We talk about understanding the materials, because, you know, a lot of people will design a window, and the glazing portion with such a mass amount of glass isn't actually physically possible. You can't purchase it. It can't be manufactured in Australia. And a lot of that thought process, I was actually astounded by how much you actually knew and how much effort you put into understanding the Australian standards. As a student, I was taken back by how much Armin had already developed knowledge of the Australian building codes and so forth, because when I questioned, you know, that there was pretension slabs, and I talked about how far they could span, and he knew it all. And I thought it was fantastic. And it's very inspirational to know that you've got students who are passionate about design, who are passionate about designing something that can actually be built, not just designing fluff, because there's a lot of fluff out there that anyone can, you know, you can jump on a computer and design anything you want, make it look really super cool, but can it actually be built? How are the foundations going to be put in to stabilize this building? You know, as you get higher, the wind loading, you know, we talked about wind loadings, you know, because a lot of people do planting and so forth on buildings, and you know, the higher you go, the higher the wind loadings are, and many people don't even take that into consideration. And you know, we were discussing all of this, so we understood exactly about the design, how it needed to be built, how the documents needed to be prepared to be interpreted properly by builders, because a lot of people also put designs together, and the concern is that they put so much content on there in I guess minimal amount of drawings, rather than spreading them over more drawings. They become cluttered and becomes very, very difficult for a builder to be able to build a project. So it was really trying to get the understanding of knowing that Armin really understood how this could be built, and it wasn't just a pretty picture and anything. So, you know, a lot of gratitude goes toward you, Armin, and I know the respect that you have for your family. I know that, you know, it was very sad that you had won the Sydney award and your father had passed away that week, so you didn't actually get to know that you won the award. So it was actually, it's a bit sad, but nice in a way that, you know, your father knows your skill, you know, your family know that you've got this skill, and it's you know, it's very, very good to see. And you know, don't ever give up when times are tough. You know, it's going to get like that in life. People are going to reject your designs. Don't let that put you down. You know, people have rejected my designs, but I still get them through in the end. And then people that rejected them are positive about it. So, you know, you've got to make sure that you're persistent, that you remain passionate, and that you stand true to your cause, because, you know, that's a fantastic building. And it's great to see that, you know, so many people are coming through with this skill set that you're possessing from the TAFE. You don't have to be university educated to be able to produce, you know, this level of quality of design. And again, not everybody wants to design residential apartments or tall buildings, but it is, you know, very, very good to see that they are being taught this, because I know that in New South Wales, building designers aren't permitted to design, you know, the Class 2 residential apartments, but you know, you've put something there that can be built. I know 100% it can be built. So I've gone through.
For this project, I can tell you, Chris, I read every single part of volume 1, and all classification we need to mention, we need to take care of that. For example, class 5, class 6, class 7A, class 9B, we use that in all the requirements in this building design.
And just for everybody, in 2019, he couldn't speak a word of English. So, and he had to read.
Seriously, sometimes people cannot believe that, but seriously, I learned English just past 2 years. I never ever speak English in my life. I just traveled to Turkey in 2015, and I start to learn Turkish, and I know I can speak Turkish very well. And now, when I came to Australia, I started again from the beginning. And I can tell you, I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it for your support, for your community, because this community, just one community, helped me from the beginning. When I came to Australia, I tried lots of communities to get help, architectural office, lots of community. I don't want to name them, but the doors was open for me from BDAA, and all the time you supported me, and I really appreciate it from you and all of my teachers, whatever I learned from them. And Granville TAFE, of course, Granville TAFE is really in this field, in construction details, amazing education. They are very good. They are very good in teaching, and I learned a lot there, and I learned a lot from the members of BDAA. I was a student member for 2 years, and now with proud I joined as a full member this year, and I hope I can stay with you guys for long time. We have lots of plan.
So Armin, to all the other students out there that might be listening in, what would your advice be to them?
100% recommended them to join to BDAA, because this is the community. This is a community and a way they can find best way to achieve their career, the job, their work, their business, everything.
Jen, I'll throw it. Thanks very much, Armin. Jen, I'll throw it over to you because we've got a couple of people with their hands up, and Sharbel was really just saying that he wanted to thank you, Armin, for your presentation. So.
And there's Christian. I don't think that was intentional. Christian, did you want to ask anything? I don't think so. I think they've been accidental.
Thank you to everyone. Put a lot of comments. I appreciate it to all of them, and thank you to all members. And
I think we're all slightly in awe of you, Armin.
Yeah.
Well done and congratulations. That was a really
Thank you very much. Thank you.
thing to watch. Thank you. I'm going to wrap up this formal part of the meeting now. So, Chris, have you got a QR code to put on the screen for the CR?
I'll just get that ready now.
Okay. So a big thank you to our presenters, and thank you to everyone for joining us. The BDAA head office is going to be closed from the 23rd of December until the 12th of January next year for the Christmas break. And our next online chapter meeting will be 1 p.m. on the 7th of December, and that will be the last meeting for the year. So bye for now. We will look forward to seeing you in December, and keep an eye out for the registration email. And thanks for joining us. Okay. Thanks, Armin. Thanks, Jeremy. Bye.
Just letting everyone know, I'm just going to be putting up the QR code in 1 minute. I'm just getting it out of the emails.
We're missing Sarah Jane, who's so
all over it normally. It is Melbourne Cup Day today, and with Sarah Jane being from Melbourne, it was her day off. So
fair enough too.
Just trying to find it.
And what are you working on now? What's the current project?
Actually, I'm working in a commercial project in Zetland. I hope it would be open by end of the year or middle of January next year. Lux Marble, a big, massive showroom, is beautiful natural stone company. And I have one residential project. I'm working on that. I have some projects comes out, but I'm working on my project and prepare the documentation for previous projects and everything. And yeah.
Plenty to keep you busy.
Yeah, keep it busy. And it's nice to work because I love this work, and I'm passionate about design every time.
It's good, I can see it. So Chris, you've posted the QR code in the chat box.
Yes.
Lovely. So we'll just give everyone a few minutes. You can download that. And Gavin's asked if you can send the CPD certificate through.
We'll have to pass that request on to Sarah Jane.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Armin. And we will see you in December.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. For those of you that are on, the QR code is in the chat. Thank you also to our international members that joined us today. I know that JDev in Fiji is on, so thank you, JDev, and thank you to all the members for attending today, and we will see you next month. Make sure you look at the BDAA website for the Ready Reckoner and for further information. Thank you.